Apple sues NSO Group, GoDaddy discloses another hack, and attackers could eavesdrop on your phone using a MediaTek vulnerability. All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Greetings, I am Shannon Morse, and this is ThreatWire for November 30th, 2021. This is your weekly summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. A special thank you to Brian for joining this week on the Patreon Alliance. Patreon.com/ThreatWire, as always, to keep this show free. And if you want to support the show, but you don't want to join Patreon, you can grab your very own ThreatWire merch for the holidays at the link below. Use the coupon code TURKEY for 15% off. Yes, I currently have a sale going. And with that, on to the news. We learned in 2018 that NSO Group's Pegasus spyware was being used for surveillance between countries that have histories of violating human rights with this kind of spyware. Now, back in August, we learned from research firm Citizen Lab that the NSO Group's exploit, which is called Forced Entry, was being used to install Pegasus spyware on targeted Apple devices. These exploits and the Pegasus spyware are often used by state-sponsored attackers to target journalists, government officials, diplomats, activists, and other high-profile targets that could potentially have access to proprietary information, data that, if stolen, could lead to dangerous situations. The exploits are zero-click, meaning the device owner would not need to do anything in order for the device to get owned. Pegasus spyware is marketed as this tool that can be used to monitor criminals and terrorists, but it's allegedly used to violate privacy as well. Now Apple is suing NSO Group for targeting and spying on Apple users, even though chances are slim that your average consumer could be in this target group. The reasoning is because, quote, for their own commercial gain, they enable their customers to abuse those products and services to target individuals, including government officials, journalists, business people, activists, academics, and even US citizens. Apple's official complaint was made in the Northern District of California against NSO Group Technologies Limited and parent company Q Cyber Technologies Limited. Apple is seeking a jury trial and a permanent injunction to ban NSO Group from using any Apple software, services, or devices. Apple has plans in motion to mitigate the practice of spying on their devices. The company is also planning to start notifying individuals if they've been targeted by the forced entry exploit, along with any users who are targeted by state-sponsored spyware attacks in the future, and they are going to contribute $10 million to organizations that do cyber surveillance research or advocacy. If you are worried that you have been targeted with Pegasus spyware, you can update your iOS version to 14.8 or later and download this app called iMazing for Mac or PC, which includes a mobile verification toolkit made by Amnesty International. This app detects any signs of Pegasus on a device, and it's completely free to use. You don't have to buy iMazing in order to use the test feature. You connect your Apple device to the computer, click Detect Spyware, and follow the on-screen instructions. But again, chances are low that you would be targeted, so you would likely just need to update to keep your phone safe. Props to Dan on my Patreon for sharing this story. Last week, GoDaddy announced via a publicized notification that data for 1.2 million customers, both active and inactive, were exposed in a data breach. This happened via GoDaddy's managed WordPress hosting environment, and it was discovered on November 17th, but according to the report, attackers had access since September 6th, at least. The attacker gained access by using a compromised password for their provisioning system in their legacy codebase for managed WordPress. GoDaddy identified this breach and they blocked the unauthorized third party from accessing their systems. Impacted customers are currently being notified, and GoDaddy did hire an IT forensics firm to investigate, and they also contacted law enforcement to report the breach. So what did attackers gain access to? Well, this breach exposed 1.2 million customer email addresses and customer numbers, which could potentially lead to phishing attacks. It also exposed the OG WordPress admin passwords set at the time of provisioning, and if those passwords are still in use, they were reset by GoDaddy. For active customers, SFTP and database usernames and passwords were exposed, and the SSL private keys for a subset of those customers were also exposed. Now, passwords were reset by the company, and the new private key certificates are currently being issued for those affected. So 2 days later, after this news, GoDaddy updated their news to add that 6 different managed WordPress service resellers were also affected by this attack. And those include TSO Host, Media Temple, 123reg, Domain Factory, Heart Internet, and Host Europe. Each of these brands were also in the process of contacting their affected customers as well. I love it when you send me these adorable pictures of your pets. So these are a few from my Hush Puppy Patreon Alliance members. You can always support this content and you can keep it ad-free for as little as $2 per month, and you get a slew of perks at the same time. Each and every single Alliance member gets over 10 perks as soon as you sign up at patreon.com/threatwire. And with that, onto the third news story. MediaTek makes chips that go in well over 30% of all smartphones in the world, and 4 vulnerabilities were recently found by Check Point that could have allowed an attacker to eavesdrop on any Android phones that include these chipsets, including listening in on calls, executing commands, or doing a privilege escalation attack. Some older devices will probably never even get security updates as they are no longer supported, but devices that are still under their support cycle are receiving patches. These vulnerabilities require no interaction from the user, so it is important to update as soon as you can. Each of these flaws are being tracked. There's CVE 2021, 0661, 0662, and 0663. Those were patched in the October 2021 MediaTek Security Bulletin. CVE 2021, 0673 will be patched next month. Check Point reverse engineered the Android API used for audio comms, and they found MediaTek chips are using this thing called digital signal processing for playback quality and performance. Check Point found that an attacker could exploit flaws in how requests are made and potentially run code on this DSP chip. After Check Point disclosed the flaws, MediaTek mitigated the issues and they sent out notices to manufacturers. They don't believe that these issues are being actively exploited, but you should still update when possible since this news has now been publicly shared. Do you want more hacker content? Subscribe over at youtube.com/Shannon Morse, it's spelled just like my name, for some holiday videos coming up soon, including my annual hacker gift guide coming out this week. I'm so excited. I love doing my annual hacker gift guide. It's always so much fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel as well, especially because at the end of the year, I'm going to be canceling and closing down the video RSS feed for Threatwire, not the YouTube channel, RSS feed, due to cost to manage a video RSS and the quite frankly low download numbers. Podcast apps are moving towards audio and video file formats are not consistently working in all of those applications anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. If you are one of the few folks who did download the show via your own podcast application, you can still watch it via YouTube every single week. And if you have YouTube Premium, you can download it right here via our channel. You can also use third-party scripts to download YouTube videos as well. Also note that if you are a Patreon supporter, you still have and you always will have access to an audio RSS feed. Thank you so much for the support. I truly appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for that holiday gift guide for hackers. And I'm Shannon Morse. I'll see you on the internet.